James Lynch and Duane Finley here for Spectation Sports, and we're here to talk about Maverick MMA 18 going down this Saturday at the Spill Rock Resort in Lake Harmony, Pennsylvania. Sounds like a good time. It's going to be a good card. 15 fights on the card coming up here, and a couple pieces of hardware on the line, a couple titles, I should say. Duane, really excited about this one. Let's get into the first fight we're going to preview here. Kenny Cockrell taking on Mike Basil. I know you're familiar with these two amateur middleweights. What can you tell us about this fight?
Yeah, I put my focus on Kenny here, man. I think Kenny he feels that he has something to prove. I feel like he's got the right temperament and the right measure. I mean, it's weird. It's that's kind of what I listen to now. As we've done this as long as we have, James. I kind of listen to kind of what the presentation is. If there's over eagerness or if there's a calmness, and Kenny seemed to have that centeredness about him. They're both still early into their careers. It's really anybody's game, but I think I like what Kenny brings to the table.
Yeah, both these guys are pretty similar, both 6 feet tall for the 85-pound weight class. Kenny Cockrell finished his fight in 8 seconds into the second round. So this guy, is not wasting time on the clock when it comes to that. Mike Basil, 24 years old, coming off back-to-back losses. So his back is against the wall going into this one. He did start his career 3-2. Now he is stuck at 3-4 at this point. So a lot sort of on the line here. We know he's got a good ground game. 3 of his wins, I should say, are by submission. But when he tends to go the distance, it doesn't go his way. His last 2 losses are both by decision in this one. So it'll be a little bit interesting here. Kenny's a little bit younger here at 21 years old, Mike at 24. I think with Kenny, you almost want to side with him in this one just because, again, there's more upside here. We haven't really seen much of him. You feel like maybe you're going to get a guy who could go out here and surprise, whereas with Mike, he's 3-4 in his amateur career. I know it's amateur, but still, that's got to put him behind the 8 ball a little bit here. So I'm liking Kenny in this one, potentially pull off the upset. As far as, the picks go, Cockrell is getting a lot of love as well, just from some of the picks. But I think Kenny Cockrell goes out there and gets it done. Okay, let's move along to the next fight on the card. We're going to look at Christian Carr taking on, where are we here? Christian Carr taking on Nick Corelli, and this is going to be for the vacant featherweight championship, amateur featherweight championship. Bo, what can you tell us about this one?
I'm telling you what, look, I'm not, me, man, I'm not big on hyperbole, but this is a fight that the fact that this is coming at an amateur portion of their careers on a regional card is insane. I promise you'll see both of these guys later on down the road, and maybe this turns into a Gotti, Ward situation. I don't know. Let me start with Corelli. Dude, like when you talk, he trains with Nick Catone camp. He said, they have mini Dagestan over there. They have Russian camp. They're all former wrestlers anyway. But the excitement in this kid's voice, as soon as he jumped on, he reminded me of a young Frankie Edgar. Just fired up, run into the cage kind of thing. Like, he is excited for that test. That was his entire point. He's like, when I saw Christian's name come across the desk, I was like, hell yeah, let's get to it. Like, this is the challenge I want. And then I want this. I want to win this, and then I want to go pro. In a time, James, where so many guys on this regional or amateur level are swerving good competition, trying to pad records so the bigger shows want to see them. They're not getting the truth.
Yeah, they're not battle tested, Yeah.
Right. Like, that's what you need. You need to figure out what you're worth. So Corelli is game. Now, I got to tell you, talking to Carr, because he's a young man. I think he's 21 or 22.
22, yeah.
He was as poised, old soul as you could get. You could definitely tell the tenets of martial arts are deep in that young man. He's respectful. He said, I have to keep my cup open so I can fill it up with wisdom. And then he also said something that I never hear bravado free talk from fighters. He said, I know how I want this to go. I believe I'm confident to beat Corelli, but if this does not go the way we had planned it to go, this is my time to learn. I'll make my adjustments. I'll go from there. And I was like, what a breath of fresh air that is. That's so I'm saying I don't even want to pick one in this one. I'm kind of leaning Corelli because of the Catone. Those are my people. But fans win. Maverick MMA put on a hell of a fight with this one.
Yeah, no, they did. And yeah, looking forward to this one. So Corelli is 27 years old. Carr is 22. Interesting thing with Corelli, he's never gone the distance in his career. He doesn't even have any, he just has the 3 amateur fights, all finishes. So it'll be interesting if it does go past, say, that second round to see where he's at, because Christian Carr pretty much, to start his career, they were all decision wins. So he has that battle-tested experience. Now he's got 1 win by submission. His last fight was a split decision loss against Stefanelli. And that was back in 2019. So a bit of a layoff coming into this one. And we talked about the pandemic in our other video impacting regional MMA. First fight since November of 2019. That's a really long layoff here. At least with Corelli, he fought last June, so he's got a little bit. He's got just the 1 fight in there in between here. It seems like a lot of people are liking Corelli here, maybe because of the age, maybe because of the gym, like you mentioned there. I'm going to go with Christian Carr because I think the battle tested experience, and plus we can't agree on everything, Duane. I think Carr is going to go out there and live up to his nickname, which is strictly business, and I think he goes out there and gets it done and takes home a decision here and does what he does best. I think he'll survive the early onslaught from Corelli and go out there and win a decision here. So my pick is going to be Christian Carr. Duane and I on opposite ends of the spectrum on this one.
I want to put a little something extra on this one, Lynch. We're going to put a New Jersey golden chain on the line here, buddy.
There we go. Yeah, let's do it.
I'll stop at a kiosk, get the ball right now, and I'll get that is on the line.
All right, you got yourself a deal. That's good.
Expectation chain is on the line.
Yeah, let's do it. Really awesome fight as well coming up here in the welterweight division. We've got Abraham Cali taking on Raymond Cabalos. Pair of fighters who just have 1 fight apiece. It's Cali who's 0-1, Cabalos who is 1-0. Duane, what do you know about both these guys, and what can we expect on Saturday night?
Like I said, the inexperience is, I think that's in our favor. This one, I'll tell you this about Raymond Cabalos is that this guy is pretty straightforward about not getting the judges involved. He said there's no time for it. There's no business for it. He's going there to dominate, get it done. It's with the quickness. He likes to work with the quick. He's a New Yorker, man. He's a native New Yorker. They do everything fast, So he wants to get in there, get out. He wants to get the business done, and and I think that's what you're going to see. I don't know much about the other side of the coin. I mean, like I said, I know he's very early in his run. I think he has some grappling experience, but I think Ray's coming in on that subway train, New York minute style, buddy. Gonna get it done quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And, just kind of interesting here, right? Raymond won his last fight by submission in the very first round. Ibrahim lost his last fight in the first round as well. So maybe a style matchup there where, the ground game's a little bit more superior. But Cali did go 4-5 as an amateur, losing his debut to Jimmy Drago, which, I mean, who doesn't lose to Drago except for Rocky, right? And then, of course, we have he had a kickboxing fight in between there back in August. So a little bit more experience in the cage, but he also got knocked out in that fight too. So Cali really looking to turn things around. They call him the African Warrior. We'll see if he can bring that on Saturday. But Cabalos went 5-2 as an amateur. He's just a better fighter on paper by the looks of it here. Again, the ground game is on point here, even some submission wins earlier in his amateur career. In the pro ranks, like I said, got that first win back in October of last year. I'm going Raymond by submission to get it done here. I think it's a repeat of what happened to Cali in his last fight. Okay, let's get... Oh, go ahead.
I want to say one more thing because here I am. We can't do these videos without making a Hunter Homestead reference. Not only am I rocking a strong flannel game, but you made what I love about you, Lynch, and what I despise about Hunter is you make a pop culture movie reference and it touches my heart. Hunter's gonna try to say he's never seen Rocky IV. I know him. I know he's gonna say it. Yeah, you're right. It's horse crap, Lynch.
There's so much you can't talk about Hunter with because he just hasn't seen so much stuff. So it is what it is. What are you going to do? Let's get to the main event here. 45 title on the line. It's a vacant title here. We've got Carmo taking on Wilson in this one. Really exciting fight. And again, whenever you got hardware on the line on the regional scene, that's the type of thing that these bigger promotions like your UFC and Bellators take notice of. Both fighters, a lot of experience here. Wilson 4-1 record. Carmo 8-5. Duane, what can you tell us about this fight?
I don't know about hardware online, but when you put Eastern Europeans in that cage, that's when we get into business, sir.
Yeah.
I think, it's just, if you look around the landscape right now, man, there's a lot of good talent coming from that part of the world. And I think I'm going with Wilson on this one. I don't particularly like his inability to pick up the phone and conduct interviews, but I do like his fighting style. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you can get in there and throw them hammers and get it done, then I'll respect it either way.
Well, yeah, Wilson. It's an iffy fight here because Carmo, you look at the 8-5 record and you say, okay, well, this guy, maybe it hasn't worked out the way he's wanted it to. But you look who he's fought here. Pat Sabatini, who's in the UFC, is a mainstay in the UFC. I think he's 3-0. Kamela Kirk is also in the UFC. And then he lost to Derek Brennan, who at the time, and I believe I interviewed Derek before that fight. Derek was 5-0 at the time. So not a bad loss to have on the resume here. Some of his wins, not bad either. Beat a guy who was 6-3, beat a guy who was 12-7. So he's definitely been battle tested, so to speak. And even as an amateur, he went undefeated at 9-0. So that's something to sort of keep in mind here. But saying that, he's got an opponent here who's just very vicious, beat a guy by the name of Keith Speed. You could say he halted the brakes on that one, getting it done with, a decision win in that one. That was back in March of last year. And then even in the amateur records, he went 4-1. So this is a guy that, again, is really putting it together. But I think Carmo, the most experienced guy that he's, definitely is the most experienced guy that he's fought in there. I know a lot of people just sort of looking at the, the tail of the tape or favoring Wilson in this one. You know what? I'm going to switch things up again. I'm going to go Carmo for the upset here. I think he puts it together in this fight. He's fighting a guy who doesn't have as much experience. I think he can go out there and get it done. And the other thing about Carmo in this fight, he's got a little height advantage here. He is 5'10" with a 76-inch reach. His opponent only 5'7". So I'm going Carmo for the upset in the main event. There you go. That is Maverick MMA 18 coming up. You can watch it, like I said, on the internet. It's going to be live. It's going to be taking place at the Spit Rock Resort in Lake Harmony, Pennsylvania. Maverick always puts on a good show. We're always happy to bring you the previews here for Spectation. For myself, for Duane Finley, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the fights on Saturday and see the future of MMA right before your eyes.